everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm coming at you barefaced because I am going to be doing a full face of my Sephora VIB sale haul makeup. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. I didn't get a foundation, but I did get a sample of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation, so I am going to be putting that on and testing this out. This is a first impression. I've heard a lot of good things about this foundation, but I've just never really bitten the bullet and purchased it. It is a higher end product, so I wanted to make sure that I could test it out before actually purchasing the full size. So I'm going to head and use my Sonia Kashuk sponge. You can get these at like Target. I'm gonna go in with that on my beauty sponge here. Oh my gosh, you guys, I almost didn't prime my face. So let me do that first. I'm going to use my Tatcha Silk Canvas. This thing is huge. I don't know how I'm ever going to get through this whole thing. I barely put a dent in it, and you need like the smallest amount. So I'm going to have this primer for a while. I don't use it too often just because if you do use it, a lot of it, the foundation can kind of slip right off. But it does do a good job smoothing out some of my texture that I have, since unfortunately I do have extremely textured skin. Let's go in with the Giorgio Armani foundation. I've heard so many good things about this, and I do have really dry skin, but as you can see, I am just breaking out. I used to never have acne-prone skin, and then as I've gotten older, it's just gotten worse. I do tend to prefer like light to medium coverage foundations. Occasionally I'll go in with a full coverage foundation, but that's not very often. My go-to foundation right now is the Dior Face and Body, because it's just so lightweight and I feel like it lasts a really long time on the skin. And then the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour wear, but we'll see how this matches up with those. I hear the word luminous and I just don't think long lasting, but I'll do a wear test for you guys today since I do have to work tonight. So I'll be wearing this for quite some time. Just adding a second layer to the parts of my face I feel like need a little bit more coverage. Yeah, there's no covering these bad boys. So let's just leave them as is. I don't want to put too many layers on of this, especially because I have that silk canvas underneath. I don't want it to slide off. All right, and for concealer, I purchased the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric concealer in the shade 4.5. I've heard so many good things about this one as well, so I'm hoping that it covers up these horrible bags I have. It's not giving me as much coverage as I was hoping that it would. Again, I've heard lots of good things about this foundation. I'm sorry, about this concealer, but I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it has brightened up my under eyes quite a bit, but I still feel like you can still see like my bags underneath. I have really, really dark circles under my eyes. So unfortunately, I feel like it's just not covering it up. So I'm gonna add a little bit more just on the inner corners here. See if I can lighten that up. Doesn't help that I go to bed at like 4 or 5 every morning, so probably doesn't help. That's a little better. And I'm gonna have to keep testing this out. I just feel like I was expecting a little bit more coverage, but it doesn't look bad. It's definitely brightened, but I don't know how I feel about the coverage. This might be one that I layer with other concealers that I have. Like the Tarte Shape Tape I like, but it's really, really drying, so I hardly ever use it. So I might mix this in just because this one's a little bit more on the liquidy side. Kind of mix those two together so I can get the coverage from the Shape Tape, but kind of the thinness of this one. So I'm just gonna powder my under eyes. I didn't get powder either, so I'm just gonna go in with my Hourglass, the Hourglass Veil Setting Powder. I really, really like this. I use it to set my under eyes, to set my whole face, and then sometimes to buff over makeup if I've gone in a little bit heavy-handed with powder products, which I tend to do. I always just go and make sure all of those fine lines under my eye haven't creased, and then just go in with powder. Unfortunately, I have lots of little fine lines under my eye, so that is no fun. I tend to crease regardless of whether I powder or not, so. All right, and I'm just gonna take my big powder brush and set down the rest of my face. I pat first just so I can kind of press the powder in, and then I'll go in and buff, as to not pick up any of the foundation that's underneath. All right, so moving on to finish up the face, I'm going to go in with the Hot Nights palette from NARS. This is their face palette here, and I'm going to use this bronzer here. It is a little bit light, so I do have to layer it up quite a bit, which I don't mind. I'd rather layer it up than have just a streak. And I do tend to go in heavy-handed with bronzer, so layering it up is not a bad thing. I haven't tried the Fenty bronzer yet. I've heard mixed reviews on it. I mean, well, more people seem to love it, but I don't know. One side always comes out better than the other, every time. Every time. All right, what do you guys think? Take it just a little bit on the nose there. Alrighty. And then moving on to blush, I didn't purchase any blushes, so I'm just gonna go in with my Tarte blush here. My tried and true. I've had this for so long, and I feel like I haven't even made a dent in it. And then for highlight, I'm gonna go back into this palette here and just use the highlight, on this side. kind of the C shape here. Take a little bit on the forehead. I'm going to go between the eyes and then right at the tip of the nose there. And then the Cupid's bow. I don't do too much here, just a little bit. And then the chin. Really like that. It's a little subtle highlight, but I don't mind it. All right, taking my powder brush and just kind of buffing that in, just to take it down a notch. Make sure everything is blended. All right, then I'm going to go in with the Glow Recipe Watermelon Ultra Fine Mist. I have been loving this. Oh, it just smells so good. Let that kind of sink in, and then we will go right into eyes. All right, now moving on to eyes. I bought 4 eyeshadow palettes, but I have used a few of them, like this NARS palette I love, the Charlotte Tilbury Icon palette I've played with about a time or two, so not too often, and then this Too Faced Tickled Peach I've played with, and I really like it. So today I'm going to be focusing more on the Tom Ford quad and then the Icon. And the Tom Ford quad is the Nude Dip, number 3. This isn't a new one from him, but oh, it's just so stunning. Cannot wait to play in it. It comes with these wonderful little brushes here, but we're not going to use these. I don't really think anyone does. I mean, I guess they're good to have on the go, but I personally wouldn't or won't use them. So to start off with, I am going to go in with this white shade here at the top, just to kind of go all over the eye. None of these are matte, so just be aware of that. I don't mind not having any matte shades. It doesn't really bother me too much, so I'm gonna just put this all over the lid. I'm gonna take it all the way up to the brow bone. If I was doing just an everyday look, I would throw a color in the crease, put on some mascara, and call it a day. But for the sake of this video, I'll kind of go in and layer it up. So I'm going to go ahead and take this kind of darker color here and put that all into the crease and use that as my transition shade. Taking it all the way into the inner corner. That's such a beautiful color. All right, then I'm going to go into the darkest shade here and just throw that right into the outer V, kind of create a little bit of dimension. Take that about maybe a third of the way. and focus most of the pigment just on this outer corner here. And a little into the crease, but not going all the way in. All right, not looking too bad. And then for the lid shade, I'm going to go into the Icon palette. I don't know what color I want to put on the lid. Between this color here and then this one right here. I think I'm gonna go in with this color right here. It's a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna take that on my finger. These are so buttery. I love this shade. I'm going to go back in with the brush that I used for that outer corner color and just kind of feather over that line so that don't get that harsh line there. All right, I love the way this look is coming together. I'm going to go back into the Tom Ford palette and take this shade here, the one shade we didn't use. And I think I'm gonna use that for my inner corner and brow bone. I don't know how that's gonna come out, but let's just try it. It's a little bit smokier of a look than I was going for, but I like where it's headed. All right, I'm going to do my eyeliner and mascara since I don't have anything new for those, and I will be right back. All right, guys, and I'm back. So for the eyeliner, I have the NARS Via Veneto in the top and lower rim. And then for mascara, I used the Their Benefits, Their Real Tinted Primer and Milk Makeup's Kush Mascara. I just did my mascara. I don't know how I lost it. Oh, here it is. And then the Milk Makeup. So to finish off the lower lash line, I'm just going to go in with this color right here and just run that along the lower lash line. Sorry, my mirror's down here, so I'm just looking down. I like to make sure I connect it with that color right here, so at the top, so it just kind of flows together a little better. And then I'm going to take the darkest shade here and just put that right on the, like, maybe last third, maybe 2/3 of the way. And I'm going to keep that color closer to the lash line. Alright, last step is lips. So for lips, I got mostly glosses and one kind of lipstick, I guess. So I don't really know what direction I want to go here. I think I'm going to go with the Hourglass lip gloss. It is the Unreal lip gloss in Provoke. I'm just going to throw that on here. I love the mintiness of this. It doesn't give like a tingling sensation or anything, just has that kind of minty smell to it. And it's like my lips but better almost. Just giving it a little bit of a glossy finish. All right. So this is the finished look. What do you guys think? Other than the massive pimples I have on the side of my face. I like the way it came out. I like the foundation so far, not as full coverage as I was hoping it would be, or, you know, not full coverage, but just medium to full coverage is what I was expecting. I can still see like the freckles on my nose coming through and some redness, and it really didn't do a good job of covering any of my imperfections here. But I really like the way this look came out, and I am really loving that Tom Ford palette. I definitely think it's worth the buy. It does help that I got it 20% off during the sale, but I love the way this look came out, and I just can't wait to see how long it'll last. I'm hoping it lasts all night. But I will pin a comment down below letting you guys know how this foundation wore through the day. And thank you guys so much for watching.